right, guys, it is Blockchain coming at you with another technical analysis update. For those of you who are new to my channel, my name is Corey, aka Blockchain, and I am primarily an Elliott wave trader in the crypto and traditional markets. We are starting off on my website, BlockchainTa Trading.com. I want to highlight right here where it says get for free now is my #1 trading strategy. It is consistent, profitable, reliable, and applicable to any market. Click the little get for free now, and I'll actually send you a video demonstration of how to set it up and how to use it. And then, of course, we offer the premium Discord, and just by 7up, you actually get a 7-day free trial. So that way you can get in, see what it's about, make sure it's going to be beneficial for you. Let's take a quick sneak peek inside. So we actually have Freedom, which is actually he focuses more in the traditional markets. He's actually doing a $100 challenge right now, meaning that he started his account with $100 in it about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks ago, and he's got that bad boy up to 900 and sharing all of his plays and his calls, right here in this channel as well. We also have the crypto signals as well. So if you're looking, a great example is some scalps here. So we actually got some juicy calls with Bitcoin at 57, 228, taking profit 57,700, 57,700, flip to a short at 58,000, take profit 57,870, take profit 57,488. I mean, you name it. ETH, same thing. Between, flipping long, 34.98, take profit 35.25, 35.59, so on and so forth. And if you don't believe me, don't take my word for it. We got definitely members in here making money. Guardian, he's up 8K, in just a couple months from the signals in here, which is all good to hear. And then we also have, let's see. What's we got in here? I know MD Chow is actually he's making some money on his too. So, yep, there we go. Doubled his account in the last 13 days. There's the proof right there. So don't take my word for it. Come in and join us. We have the free chat room where you can get in and chat with ourselves, with everyone that's in there, as well as the premium channels, to get the signals and to interact and see my technical analysis and stuff as well. But enough about that. Let's go ahead and dive into the charts. All right, guys, it is Blockchain coming at you. Today, I am actually going to be doing a little bit different video. I normally do technical analysis updates, but today I'm actually going to be covering one of my favorite indicators, and that is the market Liberator B. But before we dive into that, we're starting off on my website, BlockchainTa Trading.com. The links are below. I just want to highlight on there a couple things. One of them is my #1 trading strategy. You can click that for a free video demonstration of how to set it up and how to use it, and as well as the exclusive Discord that offers signals in the traditional and crypto markets, as well as technical analysis, tips and guides, VIP trade rooms. Actually get to trade alongside me, interact with me directly, ask questions, and the whole goal is just to have a great training and community bounce things off of each other. So make sure you guys jump in there, check that out. So let's go ahead and dive into the charts here. So this let's see. All right, yeah, I'm on Bitcoin. Sorry. So the market Liberator B, the one and only, in my opinion, is one of my favorite indicators to use, because it has so many different things on there, and it is extremely useful and a huge resource in regards to my technical analysis and my trade setups as well. Because the whole idea is I want to look for confluence. I want to look for confirmation on things, obviously, before jumping into stuff. So that way you can protect your capital. So I am going to kind of go through one by one. So these are the different icons So first I'm going to start off with is the Vwap, buy sell when the line crosses midpoint, right? So that is this line right here in the middle, and of course this is a daily, so this is broken down a lot more in regards to the time frame I'm looking at. So obviously we can zoom in a little bit. So right here is obviously the midpoint, right? So when we have a break of the midpoint, such as right here, that is our indicator that we'll have some upward movement. You can kind of see that it starts to once we get into some of the higher zones on it, which is normally around 25, that's normally a peak, and that's normally when we kind of start to see a little bit of I guess a bit of a reversal. So even taking this one right here, so we had a cross right here, that right here at that low point, it came up. You can see it had the peak and then came back down and reset. I also had another peak right there, and then it kind of tapered off. So we were actually seeing this go to the downside while price action was increasing. So we're seeing a little bit of the divergence piece of it. Again, one last little push up before we got a nice little dump. So that was a pretty good indicator that we were going to start to tire out and get a little bit of a dump afterwards, where price action was moving up but the VWAP was moving down. All right. The next one I want to take a look at is the pink line. So the RSI, the strength of the market, overbought, oversold, so on and so forth. You can look for divergences on that piece too. So that is this guy right here. So actually, I normally use a separate RSI as well, just because there's specific zones in the RSI that I look for. But this is just a general overbought, oversold. You can see that, right here at this peak of the RSI, it's peak on price. We were in the upwards channels of it, about 85, and that is generally in the higher end of it for an overbought. You can see, the lows that we see right down here around 50. Obviously, this is a pretty bullish move. So RSI, has been hanging around the top tiers of it. Normally in a bullish upward trend, it's normally 70 plus that we normally hang around with it. But it likes to hold the midline of about 50 or so in a bullish move. And also during some consolidation, you can see where we're kind of trending sideways, but even right here on this dump, we had RSI drop all the way down to into the 20s. So this is just a overbought, oversold indicator as well, and it plays through the ranges of really anywhere from I'd call it really 20 to 80 is the most common ranges that it's in. Once it gets north or south of those are generally the overbought and oversold territories. So that is the RSI piece on it. The next one is the blue waves, and those are kind of the momentum waves, and just shows the momentum of the overall market. So the blue waves, let's go back here. So that is these guys here. So I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger here. So the blue waves, those are these guys here. So we have kind of a light grayish and a blue, and those are great indicators of whenever those cross, of what kind of price action is normally to follow. And kind of same thing in regards to an overbought, oversold territory as well with those pieces of it. So anytime we see the red dot, that's normally a sell position. Green dot is normally a buy position. So if we go back out, and again, this is on the daily here. So we can see, these are some of the smaller moves here with on the daily aspect of it. So just looking from right here on. So obviously we had some consolidation, right? But we had a green dot right here and had a move right there, had a red dot, again consolidated, and green dot there, and had a red dot, and another green dot there for another buy. So obviously with Bitcoin here, I'm on log scale, so these moves are a little bit more drastic than I think was really what was showing on it. But 11,000 let's see, where were we on this one? So 11,300, and then up to the red dot here. You know, so that's a multi-$1,000 call right there on those dots. So those are normally shifts, and then obviously kind of here in the middle when this kind of stuff happens on these waves, that's, you know, a good sign of consolidation, and a little bit of indecision in the market. When these blue waves are more into the overbought and oversold territory, those are normally better calls. Or if it's at normally the same thing at the midpoint as well, whether it's a, you know, bounce off of it from coming from up, from the bottom side to the up. So just like this one here, so we had the green dot, had a little bit of a buy, and then it bounced right here at the midline as a rejection with that red dot. We had a pretty nice sell off here to the downside, and then the turning point right here in the oversold category, with a nice little buy signal to get us back up there. Obviously on different time scales, you know, you can use them for scalps, you can use them for swings. I mean, even just coming out here to the weekly. And the cool thing about this, yeah, I'm on Bitcoin, but you can use this for any asset. You can use it for stocks, you can use it for crypto, Forex, whatever the case may be that you're into. And, you know, if you're in longer term positions, I mean, again, this is the weekly right here. So even just starting off in this buy right here, we had the green dot right here, all the way up here to the red dot. Again, consolidation, green dot went up, red dot for a sell, and another green dot here, calling this, you know, multi tens of $1,000 move here on Bitcoin. So love the blue waves on this particular guy. And you know, you can use them on any time frame, like I said. Going back to the money flow. I kind of covered the dots as well. Let's see, green dot. So let me cover the large dots real quick, and then I'll do the money flow index. So the large dots, which are these ones up here on the top, see all these red ones, and then we have the green ones down here on the bottom. So those again are buy and sell signals. With these big ones, we want to wait for confirmation. So if we get these like the larger dots on the tops and the bottoms, we want confirmations, and those are very true to the trend. So obviously the trend was up, and it had been up for a while. When we get those red dots, we want to wait for, I guess, a point of action, if really to get any kind of play on it. So if we're moving up and we're getting these red dots, but we're not getting, you know, large sell-offs, then don't take the play. You know, wait until we get a confirmation. So like right here, we had a large red dot, and then, you know, we had, you know, a pretty decent sell-off, but you can see price went down a little bit versus the blue waves went down a lot. So we see these indicators reset while price barely moves. You know, well, I mean, that's still a couple of $1,000 move, but in regards to the grand, you know, scheme of things, we want to wait for confirmation. So a great one really would be, you know, down here on the bottom where we did get this green dot right here. You can see we had a large buy up. So that was kind of our indicator of a large trend reversal, versus these ones right here, which are clustering, giving these signals. However, price action isn't following. So that's what we want to pay attention to for the larger dots. All right. And then let's hit the money flow. So the money flow, oops, did that again. All right, so the money flow, that is this guy right here. So we have this green line right here, and you see how it kind of right here obviously was red. So this is just your overall strength of money going in and out of the market. Normally whenever we see these go through, so again here on the daily, you know, even this cross right here, we're across the mid where we had positive money going into the market, you know, had a nice call from, you know, basically 8,500 up to 10 grand on that particular move. And then you can see how much it really peaked, and then you can see it start to turn right here. And kind of same thing just in regards to not necessarily overbought, but some of the higher end pieces of where it's at on the indicator. So obviously this move right here had a really high money flow index, At some point, we kind of need to wait for the signal for it to start to drop back off. And normally, when we see these, we have the money flow index up into the 60s, or the negative 50s, negative 60s, kind of the same thing in regards to that's definitely on the extreme side, and at some point it is going to have to turn around and reset. But obviously in an uptrend, we can see this where money flow gets to an extreme, and then right here is when it starts to taper off, right? So that is a piece of just indicator showing that the trend is it's slowing down a little bit, going into some consolidation. But you can also do some cool stuff with this, even with a trend line as well. So even though we're kind of consolidating, money flow isn't picking up anymore at this point. It is slowing down. We can definitely still do like a trend line with this piece, with a break of the trend line, to get money flow back into the market to get a confirmation for a move up. So pretty neat little tool on that aspect of it. The other piece is the trend meter, so that gauges the current trend. Overall, again, a higher time frame to get a little bit more of a bias on the market. So obviously, the overall trend on this piece of it. So I mean, daily and weekly for sure, depending on what kind of positions you like to get into. But I mean, weekly had a green trend right here and has yet to turn red. So even though it's been slowing down in consolidation, the trend hasn't turned or reversed or anything like that from a weekly perspective. So even on this move up here where Bitcoin got up to its last all-time high, upwards, basically 13-14k, we can see that the trend meter turned red here, and then followed by a nice little sell-off, and right here turned green, nice pump. Right here turned red, called the dump, and then flipped green again here. So a great tool, especially if you plan on doing like long-term hold positions. It gives you a great idea of the overall trend of the direction, so that way you can hold a little bit of a longer term position and have some confidence while doing it as well. But what's really cool is, even though we're in this consolidation here on the weekly, look at the blue lines as they are coming down and they have been resetting. And what's even cooler is if you scroll in, again, this is the weekly, so we still have 6 days on this piece. But look what's about to cross right here on the green dot. Last green dot crossed here, and red dot, again, consolidation. Where we didn't get a sell-off, it was consolidation, right? So we're about to get another green dot for the blue wave cross right here. The last one where it crossed below the overbought territory, it was right here. And called this massive move from boom to right there. I mean, that's a 281% gain until we get to the next dot. 200, well, I lied, sorry. To the dot. 83% gain until we got to the next dot. But again, we didn't get a sell-off, right? So we got another green one there. Would have held 261% gain. And then that was when we got our red dot for a sell position. So even if you took that, I mean, you're looking at over a 200% gain just from buying and holding from that time frame by taking that signal there. So really, really cool stuff. Let's take a quick look at the yellow square and the purple square. And let's see, yellow square and purple square. All right, so we have this guy. So you have our yellow squares down here, purple squares are up at the top. And that's basically because of where they're at. So we have the purple at the top, which means it's a bearish trend continuation, and yellow at the bottom, which means it is the bullish trend continuation. So basically that happens when we get the green dots, saying that helps again with the trend confirmation, basically saying that overall we got our green dot again, we're still bullish, and it isn't a trend continuation. So if we get a green dot, still bullish, trend continuation to the north side. We'll probably get a green dot here, yellow square, trend continuation to the north side, versus, you know, right here where we got a purple square, that is our trend continuation to the downside. And what's interesting, even though we did get you know, a green dot here and a red dot here, notice we didn't get the squares. So that was at kind of at a point where it was indecision in the market, and not necessarily a continuation aspect for an up or a down, I guess, scenario of it. So again, really cool on the higher time frames, but if you like scalps, you can definitely use it on the smaller time frame. You know, I'm going to use, let's go on the Doge real quick, because Bitcoin hasn't really been doing much on a smaller time frame. All right, so I put the pieces of the puzzle together, right? So we want confirmation on a couple different aspects of it, and we can start from, you know, really this last piece right here, where we were on a little bit of, I guess, yes, 70. Yep. Okay, cool. That's the high. All right. So 72 cents, you know, was more in the higher time frame. Let's go to 30 minute just to clean it up a little bit. So 72 cents, 72, 73 cents was the last high for Doge. So you can see where we had our RSI up here in the oversold position. The blue waves were again in the, I'm sorry, the overbought position. So RSI overbought, blue waves overbought. We had our red dots, and as we had this piece of it up here, you can see where the money flow index started to curl back down, and we also had our Vwap cross, and our trend start to turn red as we kind of went through this move here. So that was our, I guess, cautious sign of a move, or I guess further continuation to the downside. So being that these pieces were all overbought, money meter started to turn to the downside. Our trend was, or I guess the trend meter was starting to light up red a few times over this whole overall move. That was, you know, again, throwing the red caution flags if you were in a long, saying, hey, you might want to exit the position, because we weren't getting any kind of, we weren't getting continuation signals as it went through. Even on, you know, the 1 hour is even that much clearer, I guess. So 15 minutes are pretty good for scalps. Well, even a 1 hour is pretty decent for some swings on it. But you can see, again, we're in the overbought territory. We're getting our red dots. And, you know, as we went through, we got our wave crosses, and, you know, price was, you know, continuing to move to the downside. And our trend meter turned red right here, stayed red. So even though we did get a large green dot right here, again, we didn't get continuation with it. So we want to wait for confirmation and continuation for these green dots, or either that or a divergence play. And what I mean by divergence play is that we had a lower low, however, we had a higher low on the blue waves. So we had a divergence play here that popped up that little swing right there. It had a nice little move to the upside. So again, as we went through, money meter picked up, but we also want to pay attention to, as we got this bounce here, the Vwap was crossing to the downside. So even though price action was going up, Vwap was going down. Again, that's kind of your caution, take profits, because we could have continuation to the downside. And now we see the money flow index on the hourly turning red, meaning we have more money going out of the market than into the market, and our trend meter is still red. So we could still have some continuation to the downside. So yes, we did get a little green dot buy here. However, we didn't see a large buy up, which means we could get a nice little, you know, lower low set in, before, you know, potentially taking off again to the north side. So Lots of cool tools, lots of cool resources in this thing. It's very comparable to the market cipher, but a million times better, and not an outrageous price. So again, guys, if you're interested in this, jump into the Discord. We got tons of resources in there. We can get you all set up with the Market Liberator and go from there. Next video, I'll show you how I use it in regards to overall setting up some specific entry and exit points, utilizing my #1 free trading strategy that's on my website as well. So next video is going to be super cool. Don't miss this one. But yeah, if you guys have questions, hopefully see you guys in the Discord. If not, I'll see you on the next video where I start to put a couple other pieces together. Thanks, guys.